Well, the right thing happened there in the end. The Arizona Coyotes have officially renounced the rights after drafting Mitchell Miller, 111th overall. They no longer have the rights to him. They've renounced that, turning him into a free agent, which is a unique position. But yeah. So for those who don't know, there's a video down in the comments description, for what exactly happened, but pretty much in short, Miller horrendously bullied to the borderline of assault Araya, who was an African American or black person with learning disability. Growing up, he had to go to juvenile court for it. Was found guilty. Judge said he lacked remorse for his actions, and continued to do it afterwards. So there's a really good precedence there for just like human garbage. And it was out of 2 years ago. It was still going on. So yeah, like I said, a full run through of that story is in the description if you want to go back and listen to that if you're unaware, but you should probably know what's going on by now. But if you have somehow missed it all, it's all just there. So yeah, the more that this story sort of unfurled itself, the more that the public outcry was, this is not good enough. The one thing I did want to mention is that a lot of insiders and a lot of the news journalists that, you know, the ones that tell you about the trades that are coming, knew about this. Didn't report on it. So yeah, they all pledge these little things to have difficult conversations and to do all this stuff, but you know, when it's time to step up to that batter's plate, oof. Can I skip this round, coach? Can I skip this one? Can someone else go up there? So yeah, great work when the story did break, but that obviously does help, and a lot of it was swelled through things like Reddit. Hockey Reddit, by the way, fantastic group of people there. But yeah, the public outcry was too much. That the abuse that Araya felt was just disgusting, and the Coyotes have now finally moved on. Now, I did want to run through a bit in this statement here. That they've released a statement also in the description down below. They decided to renounce the rights prior to selecting Mitchell in the NHL draft. We were aware that the bullying incident took place in 2016. We do not condone any type of bullying, but embrace this as a teachable moment to work with Mitchell and make him accountable for his actions and provide him the opportunity to be a leader of anti-bullying and anti-racism efforts. To be a leader in those. That's how tone deaf like everything is. It's like, well, you know, they did it, so they can be the anti-mascot of that. Or maybe just someone that's anti that from the get-go could be that. How does that sound? This isn't like... this isn't like player safety where we shove all the goons in there and we're like, yeah, they know how to get away with it, so let's put them in there. We learned more about the entire matter, and more importantly, the impact that it had on Araya. What we learned does not align with the core values, blah, 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 blah. They knew full well what they were getting into when they drafted this pick. This is complete bullshit. Also, they mentioned that Bill Armstrong was in a unique situation because he wasn't allowed at the draft because of his time at Vancouver. So, kind of abstaining himself from any real, wrongdoing. The Arizona Coyotes did apologize to the family and and Araya, but didn't apologize for making the pick itself, which is a bit disappointing. And they've taken no ownership to why it happened, which is a big problem there of recent years. And a big problem in the NHL is just taking responsibility for your actions and building from it and having that discussion of how it got there. I mean, they tried one. They honestly tried one. They knew all of this. And, well, if they didn't, they definitely knew when the story broke a fair few days ago, and they've only just come to the decision to release him now. And I get it. Like, in business, I understand that you don't make decisions with a gun pointing to your head. I get that. You sit back on your own terms and you make that call, but they had plenty of time to make that call. But yeah, they don't get props from me for doing the right thing because they should have done the right thing a while ago. They tried one. They tried one. They saw a second round talent because he probably would have won in the second round. Probably mid-second round. He's one of those sort of defensemen that really could end up being something in this league. And I'm not saying that he can't be, but there's a lot that needs to be done before now and then. He needs to get his life together. He needs to apologize to the family. He needs to have a squeaky clean record for the next 5 years. Yeah, and be proactive, not just sit back and wait for it to blow over. It seems like everything throughout his life, when it comes to this, he has shown very little remorse for his actions. It's more that it sucks that it was caught, is his general mindset. So hopefully this hits at home that there are consequences for doing stuff like this. And I'm glad that there are. This sets a precedence for people growing up that, hey, if I want to, be good at hockey and do the thing that I want to do and get into the NHL, then I can't act like this. And for some people growing up, it's really hard to know the line of what is acceptable and what isn't. I'm sure that this kid knew that this wasn't acceptable but did it anyway, but obviously remorse is not something that's ingrained in him, but consequences are. And consequences for your actions is the next way to go if you don't feel like general remorse like the most of the public does. And so hopefully this prevents stuff like this happening in the future, because someone doesn't want to, pick on a poor kid because, well, they want to get into the NHL someday. Oh boy, tough story. The family also released a letter to the Coyotes, which I think kind of cemented that this was going to happen, and there's a link in the description for that as well if you haven't read that. But yeah, it's pretty full on. It's pretty full on with everything, and I just think the Coyotes needed to really have a good hard look of what they tried to pull, and then at the end of this to say, like, in addition, the Coyotes look to their partners, to fight bullying and racism and stuff like that. Cool, anyone can make a statement. And they've made statements before, and this is the whole thing with the NHL. It's so easy to put a statement together. As I've said before, Wendy's put a statement out. Wendy's! Anyone can put a statement out. It's your actions. It's the only thing that matters. And your actions show that you just don't care. You'd rather win hockey games than care about this stuff, which is really disappointing. Because you'd like to think that the amount that front office is paid and the amount that everyone is paid to do well, that you can do both. You can do both. You shouldn't need to take the shortcut of, we'll just bring out this horrendously racist bully, borderline assault. Like, it was assault. Let's call it what it is. Into the organization to win games. You should be good enough to be able to do that without that. Should be good enough to not have to cheat the combine and get fined your second and first round picks. Should be able to do a lot of things, Coyotes. Very disappointed in this franchise. I for a long time, I always wanted to work out there. They've never had good scoring, and there's all these things that go wrong there, and you really hoped for that fan base, the ones that are still loyal, that they, could rebuild and get a couple of good draft picks and really build a league of superstars. Not now. It's not like it's one bad egg either. It's not like it's one person and some people turned a blind eye. They fundamentally went after this, and yeah, they paid a price. They paid a big price, because it's going to take a long time for people to forget this. Long time. Anyway, it doesn't fix what happened, but I think that's the other thing we need to think of. Like, Araya's still got a fair bit of pain going on, and I'm hoping that, he can move on from that. I obviously don't know him at all, and we, probably won't ever know him, but, I wish him all the best, and I hope that he can move on from this terrible point in his life, and it all works out. They moved up to Detroit, so hopefully the fresh start, and credit to the mum sending the letter out and going into bat for the kid. Credit to you. That's some good stuff. The one thing I did want to mention too, it's a little bit wish-washy, but a lot of people were saying, like, if I was Miller's parents, and it's like, well, if he was doing this, he would have been doing other stuff, and like at some point, I think they must have given up. That would be my guess, if they knew that this was going on and still happened. But they were like, I wouldn't be allowed to play hockey. I think that would be the one thing that I would still be allowed to play as sport until that season ended, and then I wouldn't be able to play it anymore. My parents had a very big, ethics code of, if you make a commitment to a team, you have to serve that commitment. But then again, I guess I wasn't a borderline psychopath. So, yeah, maybe the rules were a little bit different for me. I don't know what would have happened if I did something like this. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But, you know, the correct thing happened in the end here. So, I'm not saying he's beyond reproach. I'm saying he needs to really have a good hard look at himself and get his life together. And again, if he doesn't show remorse, then hopefully consequences fill that hole for him. And he doesn't do this to anyone else. And again, I'm really hoping that this sets a trend of, oh boy, I better sit up straight and fly right a little bit. I mean, the bar is pretty fucking low. If it's like, oh, to get in the NHL, I better make sure I don't pick on it, be racist and pick on a learning disabled kid. That's a pretty fucking low bar, right? I think we can all agree that, like, yeah, we can all hit that bar. Anyway, that is the whole video. Again, I'm not going to, as with the last one, I'm not going to say like it and sub and do all that stuff. It just doesn't seem right for this tone. One thing I did want to say is that, like, obviously the other one for my channel got a lot of views, and just like to shout out all of you guys for keeping the comments quite civil. There were some funny ones in there, like, oh no, bring him on against Vegas, Ryan Reeves will say hi. But yeah, for the most part, it was pretty good. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Boy. Yep. It's really hard, these videos. They're not fun. They're not fun to do, but you've got to do them. You've got to do them. I fully believe that if you have any integrity, and believe you me, I have a very small amount of integrity. I'm in Australia, I have a YouTube channel about ice hockey. But I think you need to cover these things, so yeah. Anyway, all the best to the family. Hope it all works out, and I hope Miller gets his life together and sorts this out, and apologize to Araya, and they can get some closure and put the matter behind them. Because I can't imagine this last week or two, it would have just brought up all of those feelings again. So really hope they can start putting this behind them and move on. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. And thank you. Bye.